Welcome to Sugar Daddies podcast, where we get real about love, money, and everything in between. I'm your host, Namon Jones, here with my co-host, Diopla Sample. What's up, D?
What's going on, Namon?
Man, they say love don't cost a thing, but what about companionship?
Hey, man, we just two grown-ass men having real talk, making real connections.
Tonight, we're talking about diving into this world of sugar daddies that we've been having these discussions about. But more importantly, we're talking about tonight,
Hot topic.
how much is too much?
Ooh-wee.
Ooh, it's too much. It's a whole lot.
I mean, when you look at how much is too much, like, you got to be careful.
Yeah.
Like, some sugar babies ask just for the sake of thinking you so gullible.
Mm-hmm.
And some of them play themselves right out of a position. Play themselves right out. Now, because I've had some that you want to keep asking. It's not about you keep asking.
Uh-huh.
Okay? It's about an even exchange.
Okay. Well, keeping with the exchange then, right? So is there ever a point where it can go beyond, first of all, transactional to commitment, right? Or beyond the transactional period? Because here's what I believe. I believe that it's never too much when it's a commitment, right? When it's a commitment, I'm going to do everything I can to make sure we good. I'm going to make sure you good. We're going to work this out. When it's beyond transactional, right? But when it's just transactional, is there a limit? Is there a limit of how far you'll go before you're like, I'm good?
Yes.
What does that look like?
I mean, if it's just transactional now, it depends on the value that I place on the relationship when I'm with you.
Mm-hmm.
So if I'm with a person or I'm with a woman, let me establish that. If I'm with a woman, based on my value or the way that I value her back to me, determines how much I'm willing to spend. Like, you could be a sugar baby, but your breath could be stinking. You could have bad breath, and I don't value you as much as somebody where I'm attracted to their breath, if that makes sense.
You ever had a bad breath one?
Oh, yes, I am.
Ooh, tell me about that. Just spend a
No,
few minutes.
well,
I'm just
let me
saying,
say
because
this.
at what point was it too much for you? Did you keep going? Did you?
I mean, we hung enough for a little bit, but it got to a point where I knew I was never, gonna ever commit to that kind of a situation because she couldn't get it together.
Did you tell her?
See, and that's the part of me where I be talking about I wasn't being me. I didn't want to hurt her feelings like that. But you know what? I don't think that I needed to. I think she knew.
How? What indication?
Man,
did
you
did
know
she...
your shit, man. Wait.
Just saying.
I know, me personally,
Yeah.
I know when my mouth ain't right. If my mouth not right, and everybody ain't got a good day, I get it. But if you consistent with a bad day, you need to go get your shit checked.
But
right?
what if they don't know?
But some women, man, okay. I have no knowledge of whether or not they don't know. Right. I know if I can smell under my arms and I smell that I need to put deodorant on, I can smell it.
Yeah.
Okay. I know at some point in time, if my breath is not favorable, I'm gonna smell it. Unless I've gotten accustomed to smelling bad breath.
So did it get to a point where her, this one you're talking about, did you get accustomed to the breath or?
Well, let's go back to what we was talking. How much is too much?
Well, right, but because that's a turnoff, right?
Well,
so that's what I'm saying.
So that's what I'm getting to. How much is too much? Like, that became too much for me. It wasn't financial. That wasn't financial. It was that situation became too much. I listened. My desires for sort to listen
Yeah.
because every time I got a whiff of that smell, it would turn me off.
So sometimes it ain't even about the transaction, it ain't even monetarily. It's something else that could cause it to be too much. And then everything else add on to it. Is that what you're saying? Like, so if the breath bad, even though, you done been there the whole night,
Well, it ain't
but
just but so let me say this. I've also been with women who had bad feet.
and what happened?
No, so for me,
Yeah.
a woman got to make sure she keep her hands and her nails done. Ain't got to be what she got paid $400-500, but she got to keep it manicured and pedicured. They got to look better than mine because I keep mine done.
Mm-hmm.
Her hygiene got to be right. Right? Like, come on, man. Like, most women want a man who are a sugar daddy who got his hygiene right.
Yeah.
That's sweet. Oh, he clean cut, he smell good, look good. She can smell out in his beard and all that. I tell a woman in a minute, smell me. I want her to smell up in here on me. Just smell me. Why? Because something happens when you smell my pheromones, a natural part of me, mixed in with the cologne that go through the cerebral part of the brain and change the molecular structure of how you think about me as soon as you smell me. Come on.
You a doctor now. Shit.
No, I'm just
A
saying.
mixologist.
I'm just
So there was a different turnoffs that could cause you to turn away, is what I'm hearing. Let me ask a question then. Because I'm with you. Bad breath, it's a turnoff for me. Hygiene, I get that. I done been in a situation fine as I don't know what. I look at them feet, I'm like, man, I just can't even do it. Ain't even turned on. But here's the $1 million question though. Are you willing to invest in the hygiene? And when does that become too much?
well, let me say this. So the answer to that question is no. First of all, hang on.
Okay.
Hang on.
Okay, that's good. No, okay.
Reason being is because I've already invested by paying the bills. Hang on. So whatever money you get, you should be able to take care of yourself.
Okay.
All right. Now watch this. Yes, I will say, okay, so to your point, would I get your hair, your nails done? Absolutely. No, I don't have no problem with that. Get your bag, shoes, whatever. That's not my issue. My issue is if I take care of all that and give you money on top of that, can you take it and invest back into yourself? So how much is too much when I see your ass not doing what you need to do with the extra money you get?
Certain shit you just shouldn't have to say. Brushing your damn teeth and washing your ass that should just come automatic.
Man, let me tell you something. A lot of these young women don't know nothing about hygiene because the ones their parents was either on drugs, alcohol, or just kind of didn't give a damn. And these are women who are mothers in the early 80s and late 70s, early 80s, and all the way up to the early 90s. These babies, they don't know nothing, man. Yeah, and I feel sorry for the ones that came behind them. But the point is, I commend the ones who do,
Right.
who can see. I don't knock a woman because she like an older man. She like an older man for a reason.
Mm.
I don't knock a young girl, 25, 26, that want a man 48, 50.
Why do you think they want a man like that?
Because they want a father figure. Somebody to direct them and guide them. For whatever, they choose somebody to like their daddy or someone who they would have liked to have been their father.
That's an interesting topic. Someone like their father.
Or their
The idea
imagination.
of.
Yeah, their imagination. Like my mama got a lot of good qualities about herself. And sometimes I choose women based on the qualities of what my mother has.
Was like
You know?
cooking, smelling good, keep it, keeping
My
the house
mama,
together.
you're not gonna see my mama. My mama is a classy woman. She classy. Like she gonna shop. She gonna make sure she got the best of the best, and she gonna make sure the man that she with gonna give her the best of the best. So I typically kind of choose women like that, like my mama choose.
Okay. What's the extent that you'll pay for? You go all out for a sugar baby.
To the extent that I've given her my heart.
What's the craziest you done never done though? Besides monetarily, or if it's outrageous, But what's the craziest shit like? What you done to go get a woman? I give you an example, right? I'll start, right? I remember I was in high school, and
Damn, you gotta go back to high school.
yeah, because it's a funny story. This is where it started. It got progressively worse, but I think this was the starter, right? I'm in high school, and my mom, man, she was single parent, but she ain't play, and she catch me out and shit. I'm sneaking out and all that kind of. So my mom, we had a 2-story house. My mom made me switch my bedrooms from the main level to the second floor, right? But that pussy was calling me so bad that my mama go to sleep. I would sneak out the second floor window and shimmy down the gutter and go get on the bike and get to the crib as best I could because it was calling me. You know what I'm saying? So when I say, what would you do beyond the monetary investment, right? What sacrifices would you make to really go all out? I'm talking about, man, I would go out to go see this chick, man. It ain't matter. 2 in the morning, 3 in the morning. I'm gonna risk it all.
I mean, I get it, but at the time, you wasn't qualified as a sugar daddy.
No, I'm not speaking of that. You're right.
Chasing some pussy.
Yeah, okay. But even as we mature now and we get to a point where we qualify, there's still certain triggers that still similar. You go all out, no matter. I mean, if we see something we want that we really want, what's the limit?
I mean, it depends on, so I'm gonna say it like this for me. If I want something, I don't have a limit. If I want it, if I really want something, I ain't got no limit.
So
I don't. If I really want to be, say, the money in my pocket, in my bank account, I really want to be with you, I have no limit.
What's the most you don't spend on something, on chasing a woman?
I mean, I've spent hundreds of thousands of dollars. So I'm not just chasing a woman, I'm talking about collectively hundreds of thousands of dollars.
On some pussy.
On being a sugar daddy. And that involves intimacy. Yes.
Okay. Would you do it again?
Would I do it again?
Yeah.
Apart from being in my current relationship, absolutely. If this separated, I don't have a problem being a sugar daddy. Like
that's not me either. I get that.
So would I do it again? I say yes.
But to that level, do you think it was worth it?
I do it better.
That's the point. I mean, do you
better meaning less stress?
That's right.
Meaning I wouldn't have so many.
So
maybe 1 or 2. Hindsight being 20/20. Looking back, that was too much. Like 7 women at one time, taking care of their finances.
Cause you sleeping with all of them at the same time too. You taking all the finances, all that.
Well, what I'm doing is I'm exchanging monetary gifts for benefits.
Right. But you were having benefits with all 7 simultaneously.
Well, it wasn't 7 women at the same time. Okay. it was 7 women in rotation.
Right. Well, I don't mean same time like you doing you got 7 women in the bed with you one time. I'm not speaking from that perspective. I'm talking about in rotation at any given month. You done slept with all 7 of them.
Yes.
Okay, so why it be different if you had to do it all over again? It wouldn't be too many. Talked about it being stressful,
Yeah,
too much.
well, it's easier to maintain a relationship with a sugar daddy when you got 1 or 2.
Okay. Is it makes it more affordable, you think? Because you say you
Well,
got to be of a certain stature. Obviously, you could take care of 7, but
obviously it's gonna be more affordable, but that's not the point. The
okay.
point is, it keeps down the pressure of trying to please too many.
Okay. Okay.
Because I'm a people pleaser by nature. I want to make sure everybody's straight. So when I go to the club, I go out to a bar, you with me, I got you. Like, out
Yeah.
there, like, I want to make sure everybody's straight. Am I entitled to do that? Absolutely. Do
Yeah.
I want to do it? Absolutely. However, some people take advantage of it, okay? I just was raised that if you want to have a good time, you have to go out and create it for yourself.
Okay. So, in cutting it down, right? If you had to scan over all the situations you were in from a sugar daddy perspective, because I know our listeners and our viewers really want to know, like, what's that real cost for real? Like, if you had to do an average of what you were spending, just an average, you look back, I was probably spending X per month. What did it look like?
20 grand a month.
On one?
Between the 7.
So roughly then about 3 to 4 grand almost per. Kind of what it almost averages out to.
Just take 20 divided by 7.
Well, that's what I'm saying. So that's a little under 3, right? Because
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
About 2 yes. Yes, easy.
So is it fair to say then? Because that sounds about right. I mean, you know, when you playing, you literally gotta pay to play for real.
Yeah.
So if it's safe to say then, if you want to get into this lifestyle, as a sugar baby or as a sugar daddy, I guess a minimum expectation you're gonna spend about 2 to 3 grand. You think?
Well, let's back up. So the average sugar daddy probably don't have 7 women.
Right.
Okay, I'm more of an extremist. I like to go fast. I ride like Corvettes, fast motorcycles, fast boats. I like fast things. So me being an extremist, I wouldn't qualify as the average guy. But the average sugar daddy, he has 2, at the max 3.
Well, that's what I'm doing. I'm breaking it down. Even at your 7, if I broke it down per,
So
you're
you're
looking
talking
about
360, about 9, 10 grand a month for 2 to 3.
right. So let's break it down.
If you got 6 to 10 grand a month, you could do 2 to 3.
So let's break it down to 1. If I want to just be 1 sugar daddy to 1 sugar baby,
About 3 grand a month.
about 3 grand a month, and that's viable.
That's on top of you already paying what you already pay. That money has nothing to do with what you pay.
What you
for
mean?
yourself. Because the sugar mama money is like 3 grand. Somebody was, I make 36,000. I'm qualified. No, you don't.
I ain't getting what you're saying. Elaborate a little bit more. On top of what? On top of
top
what I
of the
do.
income you already bring in, the 3,000 is on top of that, which means if you bring in 5, you got to make sure you got 3,000 somewhere else. Or
You talking about as a sugar daddy then?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. So yeah, of course. So that has nothing to do with what I'm making or not making or whatever. You're saying of all the money that I am making, I need to have at least about 2-3 grand aside
2,500
to 3 grand a month
for one.
that I'm gonna play with.
Yeah.
For a sugar, but that's average, you
Yeah.
think. And so for that 3 grand a month again, is there a point where if it's all expectations on the table, I get 2,500, I get 3 grand, whatever it is, what should be my expectation and her expectation for what I'm putting out for that 3 grand a month?
from my side, if I'm spending that kind of money per month, I need you to be available. Of course, we gonna be intimate, but now watch
available in what
this.
capacity?
But watch this. Watch this. Sometimes that don't include the meals that we go out
Right.
and eat. Now, mind you, I'm from Houston, but I live in Atlanta now. And being here, there's not a restaurant, a fancy 5-star restaurant that I haven't eaten at. Chops Lobster Bar, Atlanta Fish Market, Hal's Steakhouse. I'm talking about I'm regular at these restaurants, which means you got to pay your plate, just like you said. You can't get in the house and expect to spend $35 popping their money. Not in house. A steak is $75 to $125.
Oh, we've been there together.
Yeah. But
I
my
get it.
point is, some of these gifts does not include the meals and drinks that go along with the sugar daddy relationship.
So then, is it fair to say I can dish out $2,500, $3,000 with $3,500, but the expectation is I'm still gonna go over and beyond. I'm still gonna have these steak dinners. We're gonna go to the bars, drinks, and all that kind of stuff.
If you're wired like me,
Right. But is there a point where that's too much?
yes.
So talk to me about that. When does it become too much?
It becomes too much when it's taken for granted. Like, that's what I was saying earlier. You have some sugar babies think that they're entitled because they may be given intimacy. And they don't know that I'm giving as well financially. I'm giving as well physically. I'm giving as well emotionally. I'm giving as well spiritually. I mean, I'm giving. I'm pouring into you. See, I already know you're younger than me. You haven't experienced what I have, and you probably haven't come close to making the money I have made or is making.
Is there a limit on the number of times you have sex for $3,500, $3,000, $4,000 a month, whatever it is?
No, there's no limit on that.
So I asked that question because remember, you and I went to this certain restaurant. We were at the bar, and we were just asking questions. We were talking about our podcast, and the question was raised to a few of the females there, if you recall. And we asked the same kind of question. We asked if a guy was doing XYZ, paying all the bills, spending about $3,000-$4,000 a month, and he wants to have intimacy, sex, whatever you want to call it, 3-4 times a week. What are your thoughts on that? And it was a mixed bag, but you remember the one individual who said, no, that's too much.
So, let me say this before I answer that question. Because she was lying. All right.
Was she lying?
Well, what she stated was she turned down $12,000 for sex.
That's what she said.
Okay.
And then we asked,
and I looked at
how
her.
much, if you was paying consistently, how many times per week? And I said, well, if it was 3-4 times a week. She was, that's too much. So you're right. You looked at her and you thought.
No, I said she a lie.
Ain't no woman turning down $12,000.
You ain't turning. No, wait. There are women that will turn down 12,000. You know why?
Why?
They don't need it. She wasn't that woman. Okay? That woman that worked behind that bar at that restaurant, the way she was looking, I ain't hating on my sister. All right? Needed that. So please stop.
You determined that based off how she looked.
No, determined that. You know, we always say, well, don't judge, but it's my reality. I'm just going by what I see. If I'm walking the streets and I'm smoking crack, you gonna say I'm a crackhead. I would say don't judge. No.
Yeah, yeah.
No. You ain't judging me.
If you ride
It's your
past the stadium and
reality.
see a baseball team in there, and the guy up there at the bat, in your eyes, he's a baseball player.
That's
It's
why.
what you see.
What's up? But
Yeah.
now let me ask you, how much is too much?
I'm with you on that. For me, again, to go back to what we said, it depends on the caliber of the situation. Is this going to be I'm gonna go and have a transactional situation and not even dive into the sugar daddy, sugar baby kind of conversation. It's more of I'm just gonna do something to have some fun, go buy some. There's a difference, right? To your point earlier, I don't think there is a limit. I don't think there's a limit to when a man really wants something. When you really see that one that you want, you really see that female or whatever grabs your attention, most times we're going to go all out of our way. We're going to do whatever we got to do to get that with what we want and what we need.
Absolutely.
And even in the business perspective, we've identified this even from our line of work, entrepreneur, corporate America, media. What I've identified is even if it's worthy enough for a business who would say they ain't got the money, if they see the value, they're going to go find it. So I equate the same thing to when it comes to this lifestyle of, sugar daddies. If it's a scenario, if it's somebody we want, we're going to chase it hard until we get it. And then once we got it, we then choose which angle, how do we keep it?
Well, what is it about the sugar baby that attracts the sugar daddy?
I think it's one, they keep us young, right? They keep us young at heart. Two, I think it's a scenario that when we're our age, we still got a lot of life in us. And so the life in us is attracted to the young, beauty, mostly inexperienced, right? Most of them have a need of some type of financial need or wanting to have a monetary gain or want to be poured into to help elevate and advance them from where they are in their current situation. Most older women don't have that need.
Right. And I think that's a great point, which leads us into our next segment. Is it sweet or sour?
Sweet or sour. For our viewers out there and our listeners, sweet or sour. We're going to give a subject, a topic. In this case, the office is going to ask me something. I don't even know. We haven't rehearsed this, right? But if it's sweet, that means you rock with it. Sweet means shit. I can go with that. That's sweet there. I'm down all day long. Or if it's sour, that means that's ragged. That's a piece of shit. That's like, I can't rock with it. So sweet or sour, I'm down. Go for it.
Okay, so if your sugar baby has gotten so comfortable around you that she passed gas in front of you, is that sweet or sour?
Well,
Is it sweet or sour?
the act is sweet, but it smells sour to the motherfucker. Listen, I think if your sugar baby have gotten to a point where she can fart in front of you, because most of them, they want to be cute and dainty and shit, but if they can fart in front of you, that breaks a lot of barriers, I think, right? It break down the wall. It's funny because I read a study the other day that said in relationships, right, and this applies whether it's a sugar baby, sugar daddy relationship or what have you, but they say healthy relationships is when you can pass gas in front of your other person. Now, that applies to the sugar baby shit too, because we're trying to get to a point where this relationship is established.
But we're not talking about healthy. Is it sweet or is it sour?
It's sweet.
Okay.
I say it's sweet. I can fuck with it.
All right. So he said it's sweet.
What you say?
I wonder how many of you out there will say the same thing.
What's your thoughts before we close this out? Sweet
Well,
or sour?
I think it's sour.
Oh, why? Why do you think it's sour?
Man, I don't want to smell your fucking ass, man. Like, I don't, if you got to pass, do that shit away from me. Don't do it if I don't give a damn. 20 years later, I don't want it. Because guess what? I don't pass gas in front of you.
You ain't never passed gas in front of your girl?
I'm not going to say never. If I'm to intentionally just, No.
For real?
No, for real.
When you was married?
Anyone I've ever been with can't tell you that about me.
When you were married, did you ever fight in front of her?
Have I ever intentionally known? Had to peep out, accident, something like
Did she pass gas in front of you? She passed gas in front of you?
No.
For real?
No.
So y'all get your ass up out the bed. You got to fight real, but you just...
If I got to, I get up out the bed and go to the bathroom.
For real?
I got to, in my relationship right now, that happens. If she got to go, she'll get up and go to the bathroom.
For real?
That's absolutely right.
That's some sour shit. I ain't getting up out my bed. I'm comfortable.
Yeah, I'm getting
I'm
up.
gonna let that shit out.
I don't want to smell. Let me tell you something. Smelling you can turn me on or turn me off. And if you funky, that turns me off.
What if it ain't funky, though?
Well, if you like smelling shit, I get
No,
it.
but what if it don't smell? I give you an example. Okay, so
Most gas is funky.
but
And
not-
sometimes the gas come out, you can't smell it.
I promise
But
you.
most gas, the human body is funky.
But listen,
So,
there are certain situations, for an example, like so we smoke, right? I smoke weed. Well, sometimes I can smoke and it give me gas, but it's not funky. It's just, it's literally trying to escape me to a point where the gas just trying to escape. Done it. Let it out. It can be loud the whole night and never smell.
you ask me, I said it's sour.
Yeah.
For a woman to pass gas in front of me, 20 years later, it's sour.
I think it's sweet. I think you let them be who the fuck they are.
There you go. Sweet or sour. You choose.
Well, this is going to wrap it up for this one, man. This was a good one here about, figuring out when it's too much, really.
How much
is too much?
Yeah.
What's that limit, right?
Yeah.
If you want to be a sugar baby, sugar daddy, you got to pay to play. And that's what we discussed today, the topic of what's that, that pain point. Is there a tipping point? And the conclusion we come up with is, you're going to play in your lane, but really, when a man really want a woman, I don't know if there's a limit. He gonna do what he got to do. I think that's the conclusion we came out to today.
Yeah, it is because you got some men like me who are extreme, where we go all out, and you have some men that will go all out in other ways, right? And I think when we establish how much is too much, there is no limit.
Yeah, I think in conclusion that you get to that point, right, when things start to happen to cause your mental to say, no, this is too much for me. I'm doing too much for that. So I think it eventually we get to that point.
Yeah, and nobody knows where that point is but you.
Yeah.
Even if you are the sugar daddy or the sugar baby, nobody knows but you. How much is too much when you reach your limit?
That's it. So we reached our limit now. Great episode, great segment.
Absolutely, man.
This was amazing. Tune in. We see you guys next week on Sugar Daddies. Real talk, real connections.